All right, folks. No, wait. I'm not Keith Johnson, and this isn't Shop Sounds Podcast. This is a YouTube video with me, Nick Key from Key Woodworks. I'm the guy wearing that Fader knife shirt and Tampa Bay hat. And this is a video showing me installing the brand new to me RT800 cast iron router table insert into the wing of my brand new gold top Harvey Alpha series table saw. So after opening this 112 pound box, I could get out these two support legs that will eventually be screwed into the bottom side of the router table extension wing, and I also get a first look at this super heavy cast iron top, and I gotta say, it is not light. So after a big exhale, I decided to just go for it. Even though the instructions calls for 2 people to install this extension wing, I'm only one guy in the garage, so I gotta do it the hard way, by myself. I did, however, take some advice from my buddy Jason over at Bourbon Moth. You've probably never heard of him, but he did advise me to use some sustainers to hold up the extension wing, because I wasn't gonna be able to hold it by myself to get the bolts in. And as you can see, I had to play around with the different heights of all the different sustainers, and I finally landed on this configuration here, and it got me about 90% there, and I was okay with that. And as you can see, I'm just kind of struggling to get this very heavy top situated so that I could get it in between those 2 rails on my saw, and then finally get it to where I would be able to get a couple bolts in and then muscle it in the rest of the way. As you see here, I'm now putting those legs on, just a little bit more reassurance to keep it from tipping over if those sustainers decide to kind of teeter-totter or start leaning like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. But I didn't have any issues like that at all. Those sustainers really helped hold that top where it needed to be. And as you can see here, now I'm going to struggle putting in just one bolt, and I'm going to use that kind of like a lever so that I can get the rest of the bolts in. And I don't know who came up with this first. So was it the Egyptians or maybe somebody after them? But it's really smart to use leverage so that you can then do some other hard work with heavy stuff like this really heavy extension wing. So now I'm just getting the rest of the bolts put into the top. I'm doing just 4 on each side to each rail, both the front rail and the back rail. And that's going to just get me kind of in the neighborhood of where I need to be to get these next 2 bolts in here that put the extension wing locked into my other extension wing. Are they both extension wings if they're not the actual saw top? I'm not really sure, but anyways, I got those 2 bolts in, and now I needed to level out the top. And as you can see, I've got these 2 pieces of ash underneath there, and that's because I didn't have enough length, because I have the mobile base and my garage kind of slopes a little bit. But we got it all leveled up, and then it was time to drop in my router lift, and I'm using just the Jessam Tool Company lift. It's a really nice lift, and it goes right in. I'm pretty sure that this router extension table is made for pretty much all of the top name brand lifts, whether it be Jessam or Incra, Woodpeckers. But after I get the top in, it was time to move on to the dust cabinet. I opted to go with a dust cabinet that covers the router and gives you a dust port so that you can hook in both your cabinet and your fence to your dust collection. And as you can see, I'm pulling out a dust port, a 2.5 inch hose, and that right there in my hands is the cabinet itself. It's really nice. It is all steel and really well put together. There is on one side like a trap door lever turn thing that you can adjust how much airflow comes in and out with your dust collection, and that's really nice. So now I'm just going to be mounting it to the underside of the router wing. There's 4 bolts that hold it up, and there's already pre-tapped holes ready to go, so there's no hunting around trying to find these things. It's made for this dust cabinet, and that's really nice. And on the front there, you can see there's a manhole or door or access cover, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, and that gives you access to your router, so you can, you know, turn it on, turn it off if you didn't use a power switch, which I am going to install a actual power switch on the outside when I get this all set up and done. But here I'm just attaching the dust port. It's a couple of screws and you are good to go. And like I said earlier, you can actually hook up your fence to this dust port. It's a 2.5-inch port there, big 4-inch on the end, and you can see that little bit of coupler there. I'm putting on the Rockler Dust Right quick connections because that's what I use for my dust collector. Everything in my shop gets one of these quick connectors, and you know, this is nothing different. It's going to get one too. So after that, you can see I'm now attaching the 2.5-inch dust hose that comes with the cabinet itself, and I'm just, you know, tightening up that connector, that hose clamp, and once I get that on, we'll be moving on to what I think may be the nicest thing about this entire router table setup, and it is the fence. Their router table fence is just magnificent. As I'm getting it out of the box here, let me just say, everything on this router fence feels so good. It's machined well. It has knurled knobs on everything. The fit, I mean, just the fit and finish is so good that it just feels like a very quality tool that's going to last a very long time. So I'm getting it out of the box here, and it comes pre-assembled. All you need to do is just drop it into your table and it is ready to go. So let's get it over into my table and let's get it set up. And like I said, you just drop it right into your router table. You do make a few adjustments to the bearings to make sure it is snug. I did do this off camera after the fact, after reading the instruction manual, which I advise you do that before doing all of this so you just know ahead of time. But anyways, so like I was saying earlier, everything has knurled knobs on it, and there are a couple knurled knobs on the back of this fence that hold that fence, that MDF sacrificial fence there on the front that I'm adjusting. You can widen it or make it more narrow depending on whatever bit you're using. If it's a big bit, you can spread it out, or if it's a little bitty bit, you can tighten it up so that your dust collection will pull better and you get maximum dust collection. It's really nice there, and it's easy to adjust. And it also comes with double flip stops that you just saw me take one off, and I'm putting this clear guard on, and I kind of have a little bit of a hard time because I'm trying to stay out of the camera angle and I can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm also blocking the camera angle, so my apologies for that, for the little forearm cam. But as you can see, the clear guard then comes down and you can adjust the height on it, and again, it's got knurled knobs and they feel really good, really easy to adjust. And then you can put your flip stops on and those adjust on both sides, and everything you possibly need in a router table fence is included in this fence, and it's great. I mean, like I said earlier, everything on this just feels really solid and really good. It slides well. All of the knobs feel just amazing. You can see me here locking it down. Those are really large and easy to grip knobs, and they lock that fence in good. Now here is what I think might be the icing on the cake for this router table, and it is mag ports. If you don't know what mag ports are, I will leave a link down below. You can go check them out, but simply they are magnets for dust collection, and I'm just attaching it here to my fence so that I can always detach my dust collection from the fence, or attach it when I need it. And it's just as simple as coupling them together and you're good to go. So here you see it, fully installed, all complete, ready to make a ton of sawdust, and I cannot wait to use it. And I just want to give a huge shout out to Harvey Industrial Tools for hooking me up with this router table. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.